everyone, this is Money Mom. Welcome to the channel. Today I wanted to share with you a very old recipe from my grandmother. It's around 100 years old or so. It's called bishop's bread. I've looked it up on YouTube. This recipe is a little bit different than that, and I thought I would start doing some vintage recipes from my mother. When I was visiting my father in Phoenix, Arizona in the early January, I came back with some recipes that are old. Not all of them are 100 years old, but this one is right around 100 years old, and this piece of paper is really old. It's yellowed and dingy, and it's bishop's bread. The only thing that's strange about it is it doesn't call for any kind of butter in there. So I hope it turns out, but I'm going to take a try at it and see. I'm going to tell you the ingredients, but it's called bishop's bread. And this is one of my mother's oldest recipes, and it came from my grandmother. My mother's mother is from Norway, okay, so I'll just tell you that. There also is, my father's family is from Hungary. There also is a Hungarian version of this. This is not fruit cake, but it sounds similar. So, it has 3 eggs in it, maraschino cherries with the juice. I'm supposed to use a chocolate bar, but I don't have that, so I'm going to use semi-sweet chocolate chips. Dates, and I have dates, a cup of sugar, a cup and a half of flour, a teaspoon of vanilla, baking powder, and you're supposed to use half a cup of walnuts and half a cup of Brazil nuts. But I don't have Brazil nuts. So I'm just going to use a little bit of nuts because that way I can save these for other things. I'm just going to minimize the nuts. But the first thing that you are supposed to do is you're supposed to beat the eggs and add your sugar and flour. So I will be back with you after I do that. Hi there. I beat the 3 eggs with the 1 cup of sugar. The next thing I'm supposed to do is put a cup and a half, so 1.5 cups of flour, and then mix all of that up next and mix it really well so it's well incorporated. I'm actually excited to make this. One of the things that they did tell me is when making this, make sure that I don't chop anything up. You're supposed to put the fruit, like the cherry and the dates, in their whole. You're not supposed to chop them up according to this recipe. But remember, when we look up recipes for lemon meringue pie, chocolate chip cookies, pumpkin bread, banana bread, doesn't matter what it is, when you look that up, you are going to get a variety of all different kinds of recipes. So you mix this up really well, and let's see what the recipe says. I have to be honest, my mother writes in cursive. Do you remember the good old days when we wrote in cursive? So her handwriting is a little challenging. So after you mix that up, oh, I forgot one important ingredient. It says to make sure to put 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder. So make sure to do that, not baking soda, baking powder. I will make sure also to put the recipe down below. But remember, when we do these recipes, we don't have to follow the instructions exactly. You can always improvise on some things. So it's 1.5 teaspoons, let me level that off, of baking powder. So that's 1 and 1.5. And you have to make sure to mix that in there with the 3 eggs, cup of sugar, 1.5 cups of flour, 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder. And then you mix that up. And you know what, guys? I didn't buy the stand mixer, and you know something? This helps me get a good arm workout, so I'm fine without it. I'll just make do. Remember that back in the day when they didn't have electricity, they really had to use their muscles to stir things, didn't they? Anyway, so, you know, what's really strange to me is I would have figured that this recipe had some kind of fat in it, such as butter or oil or something, but it does not call for that, so I'm kind of nervous about this. Okay, and then after you do that, you add all the fruits and the nuts, and it says do not cut. So the first thing I'm supposed to add is the maraschino cherries. I love the smell of these. Tell me if you guys like maraschino cherries. You either see, this seems to be kind of like olives, that you either love it or you don't like it. Maybe the juice is supposed to be what it is. There's quite a bit of juice. So you do that. You put the fruit. So I'm going to put all the dates in here. And then I'm going to put just a little bit of nuts. I'm not going to use a whole lot, just because my husband's not crazy about a lot of nuts and things. And all of this will chop up. So I'm just going to put a little bit. Like I said, guys, you can make this recipe your own. And then I'm going to put the chocolate chips in here. And I'm going to mix all of this up. I will be back with you guys after all of this is mixed up to show you what the batter looks like. And I'll tell you the next step. So I'll be back with you in about maybe a couple minutes. Thank you. Hi there. I'm done mixing this up, guys. I have to tell you, this recipe's easy. If you don't like the flavor of maraschino cherries, you're not going to want to use that. But there's all sorts of different recipes out there with bishop spread. This is an old recipe. What I'm going to do, oopsie, did I spill that? Anyway, oops.
Yeah, you got a little on the counter there.
Elsie said I had, well, I'll take care of that off camera. But I'm going to put this in my greased bread pan, put it in the oven at 300. It says cook between an hour and a half, but my oven tends to be kind of hot, so I am going to let you know how long it took in my oven. I'm going to be back with you to show you the final results. Thanks, guys, with your patience watching me doing a cooking video. It's kind of like a blooper reel. Anyway, I'll be back with you guys in a bit to show you the bread. Thank you. Hello everyone, this is Money Mom back with you really quick. Bread came out, it took almost an hour at 350, about, I would say 50 minutes, but each oven's going to be different. I would just take a little fork and push it in the middle. This is what it looks like. It's quite rich. You can make this recipe your own. I do think it's good, but you're really only going to need a small piece because it's kind of thick, kind of dense. I do think it has good flavor, but you could put less chocolate in it if you want. You could put extra nuts in there. You could put extra cherries in there. You can do whatever you wish, but I do think it's kind of something decadent, maybe for the holidays. So this is bishop spread. It's my grandmother's recipe. And so let me know if you guys want to see other recipes like this. Oh, one other delicious recipe I found in my mom's cookbook was prune milkshake. Yum, yum. And then there's a gelatin Walford salad. I'm serious. Growing up in the 70s, you would make a recipe and throw Jell-O on top of it. It's kind of crazy. Let me know if you guys want to see more vintage recipes from back years ago. That's all I have to say for now. I love you. I appreciate you. And like always, I'll see you on tomorrow's video. Bye-bye.